Hey, what's up? It is Sunday, Sunday night. Tomorrow, I guess, is Labor Day. And I missed yesterday, of course, as we can all attest. And it's kind of late, so I'm sure most of you are sleeping. But I wanted to start off with what's been keeping me up late at night lately, and that is Ozark. That show is unbelievable. I mean, I fell in love with the first season, and they just came out with the second season Friday night, and I have binged like mad. I think I'm about done. Might watch another episode or two tonight and see what happens. It feels like the show is going to end, but I can't imagine it will. Um, it is every scene has an unbelievable twist, or a surprise or something, and I can't say enough about the writing and the acting in that uh, series. So that's number one. Number two is the old color commentator for the Crushing Iron podcast. That is me, Mike. Has had a big weekend. I guess it started off with it wasn't a huge swim on Friday, but Saturday I went out for 4 hours on the bike, and I rode in the lab for 4 hours, which is the old abandoned airfield 1.2 mile loop. And it was excruciating mental testery. I got to tell you, it was crazy. I mean, I went, Robbie. The workout that I did was, I think I warmed up for like an hour and half hour. I don't know. I did 4 blocks of 40 minutes, 20 minutes at like a lower heart rate, and then 20 minutes at a higher heart rate, like 140 and then 150 or something like that. It was a pretty subtle change, but 4 times through with like 10 or 15-minute breaks in between. And it was incredible. It was, luckily, it was pretty cloudy in the beginning of the first 2.5, 3 hours. Um, and then it came out, the sun. But oddly, somehow I felt stronger at the end of this ride, which was very encouraging to me. And I looked at I don't have a power meter or heart rate monitor, so I was kind of doing it all by feel. And I looked at my graph, and it was pretty solid. I mean, it was just sort of the first 20 minutes were up here, and then the second 20 were just above it. And I held pretty consistent. It started getting windy out there. It was mainly a crosswind at first, which made it a lot easier for me to keep a steady power internal power meter. And that was nice. It was good. And then I had a 30-minute run, and I just did it right off the bike, nice and easy. I think, like, 10-minute pace, something just to feel it out, and it felt really good. I got to say that was a nice experience. And then today I had that Robbie's old standby double run again, classic workout, and I started a little bit late, as I always do when I'm watching Ozark late into the night. I think I got my first 45-minute run in at 11, so I didn't get to finish until around noon. But I felt really, really good. I went out at my 10:17 effort pace, which was, if you've been following me, I do the 10-minute forced 10-minute pace to keep my heart rate at 120 or something like that. And I went out at that effort. I wasn't using my watch. I was using it, but I wasn't looking at it. And I came in a little bit under 10, just naturally. So that's good. I'm working the right direction on this. And I did check my heart rate a few times by the uh, old school standby pulse. And I was right at 120. So I felt pretty good about that. And then the afternoon was an hour-and-a-half run with 30-minute warm up, and then a 35-minute gradual zone 3 into zone 4. And I think well, I know I went out too fast. It was more like zone 4 into zone 3, which was, that stuff happens. I didn't feel that great, but when I got moving, I felt like that faster pace felt pretty good, and I thought maybe I could hold it. But man, I got about 15 minutes into that 35-minute segment and started to really feel it. And so I had about, I don't know, it turned out to be about 3.5 miles left. And this was interesting. I was starting to feel that I actually came up with something. I don't know if it's new, but it was something new for me. Is I came up with this term called race pain pace. And for me, this was like the first time in a while, especially on the run. I think I've been slammed a few weeks ago on the bike, and then today on the run, I really felt like, if you've ever especially done an Ironman, and it happens in the half too, but there's this moment that sets in when your hips and your like IT bands and your feet start saying I've had enough. And usually that's been happening to me, in the first loop of the marathon, which really blows because you have to suck it up for the next whatever. But today I coined this term in my mind, race pain pace. So I was feeling that. And so instead of trying to go faster, I just tried to find a comfort level, and mixed with a sort of a pace that I would be happy with from, I have this kind of idea in mind where I want to start slow, pick it up just a little bit, and then find this pocket around mile 7 or something that I can hopefully carry through mile 18 and be consistent with that pace. And then see if I got anything left the last, or 18 or 20, see if I got anything left the last 6 to 8 miles, and maybe, pull a rabbit out of my hat in the end, by just throwing it all to the wind and going for it. Pain, I can get through 6 miles, but I don't want to get through 12 or 14 with terrible shuffle. Which reminds me, so I'm running the other day, and I'm starting off maybe like a half mile from my house, and I'm just, I have my headphones in, and I'm just going super slow, a little warm up before I have an interval. But I'm like, 4 minutes into the run maybe, and this girl's walking towards me, or she walk? Yeah, she's walking. And, I'm kind of just looking at her, and I wave, and she starts talking. So I pull my headset out, and she goes, "Pick up your feet. You're shuffling. You're scuffling." And I was like, what? Who does that? Who comes out of the blue and doesn't even say hi and then starts critiquing your run form? And, I think it was the same woman that from one of our camps who happened to be out at the lab, and we were doing some run stuff out there, and she was starting to get in everybody's grill about their running style. So I was like, that's her. That's what she does. She just runs around and walks around and helps people with their run, which is very nice. So I hope I see her again and I can thank her. But yeah, man, it was a big weekend. I mean, that's a pretty big weekend for me. I got to say, the last, several Ironman, I don't think I've really done this kind of workout, and I think it's paying off. And I've been consistent. Robbie's really got me on a dialed in path. I'm heading to Madison on Wednesday morning. I'm driving up Wednesday morning to Wisconsin. So I don't think I'm going to take my bike with me. So we're going to do kind of a swim run block, big block for the 5 or 6 days that I'll be up there. And then after that, we're going to, the following weekend, I think we have a big double bike day. So, I always feel fairly good about the bike, and if I can get my swim and my run solid, up in the same ballpark, we could be onto something. So anyway, I really appreciate you checking in. Again, this is the Road to Ironman Louisville. There's 42 days to go. I was thinking today, man, that feels actually like a long time to me. Um, I'm feeling pretty good, and I know I've got some big work to do yet, but no, right now I'm just like I feel pretty good about it. So like today, instead of overdoing it, I was thinking about, all right, you know, the only thing that can happen now is that I can get totally exhausted or maybe injured if I try and push this too hard. So I really am in this mode of like, okay, let's inch it up the strength and the speed a little bit, but mainly stay healthy and happy and fueled and rested and all these sorts of things, and just get solid workouts in rather than but the good news is I don't feel too bad right now. So I think it was kind of nice actually to get a taste of the pain, because I have my running lately. I felt really strong, and it was just a nice little reminder of like, and the other thing that happened was interesting. I got about the same time I started falling apart on the run, my iPod Mini, yeah, I still use that, died. So I had no music the last 3 or 4 miles, and oh my God, that matters. So it was like I could instantly tell that while I was hurting, I just didn't feel like I was releasing my legs as naturally, and I wasn't as relaxed, and I wasn't as um, maybe even enthused or something. So I kind of have come to the conclusion that I think I'm going to start weaning myself off of music, because it's a little bit of a crutch, I think, and there's nothing like the solidarity of your breath and being out there on a long, lonely run and figuring out how to make that happen. And that's exactly what happens at Ironman. I mean, there is outside stimulus, but for a lot of that run, you're by yourself and there's no music. So I think I'm about ready to back that down, as much as that hurts, because it's not as fun. Um, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to just cut cold turkey on it. I It's got to be done though. It was dramatic to me when I took out the headset today and I was just running. It was a different. I'll be curious to check it out when I'm not like crushed. But I mean, I kind of like it because can get in the breath. But man, you know, a marathon's a long time to be listening to your breath. So I guess that's the whole point, is that you have to start really zoning in on the meditative part of this whole experience, because to be distracted by your favorite jam by Tupac and Eminem and whatever. So it's been interesting, because on my iPod I have a lot. I haven't been able to change it because it's got like it plugs into the old computer, and it's just sort of a set list, and it hasn't updated, and I hate updates on computers and all that sort of thing. So it's got all my old stuff on there, and one of the big real estate holders on the old stuff is U2, and that's I don't know, but I'm starting to not like them anymore. I like some of their stuff, but like it kind of like isn't. Maybe I should start running to them, because it doesn't really jack me up as much as it used to. It's kind of depressing, man. I kind of feel like it's sad sometimes. But anyway, but Tupac, he really puts me in the pocket, because that dude, lyrical brilliance there. Anyway, we're actually starting the next few days. Well, I don't know what we're going to do now, because we had a big weekend plan, and then I'm going to be at Wisconsin, so it's just not going to be feasible to. I don't want to go ride the bike course. There's just too much shit going on that weekend, and so a 5-hour ride is not going to happen. But hopefully I'll get a lot of swimming in. I hope to get in the water with the practice swim 1 and hopefully maybe even 2 days, and do a lot of running around Madison, which would be great. So I will see you tomorrow. Have an easy swim. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. And check out the Crushing Iron podcast. We're recording in the morning, Mondays and Thursdays. CrushingIron.com is where it's at, or iTunes. But I mean, CrushingIron.com has a lot of info about what's going on with coaching and all kinds of stuff. So thanks for checking in. I will see you soon.